So what's the deal with all the foxes? Why are foxes around me? It's not as if you can see a lot of them on the video, but I talked about them once before. I do have one that's a little prominent in every video. It's a little tiny one, but it's just a little desk one. But foxes are definitely a part of my brand. We're going to have a little logo on the websites, and you'll see them often. I have my favorite pillow up front today, and I usually have it in the back, but I figured I'd bring it up. Oh man, what a perfect looking fox that one is. And I have a card over here with foxes on it. So why are foxes everywhere? And I do wonder how the focus picked up. By the way, I changed a few settings on this, and I hope these videos are as good. I hope this video is coming out as good as previously. I learned a lot. I made some changes. I have some audio changes. But as I move in and out, I'm a little afraid that the focus may have jammed up, but we're going to go with it. Today is a little fun video, opportunity for me to take a bit of a break. I was working on the scripting and the planning and everything else, and I did pretty well over the weekend. The 2 videos that I posted on the weekend were definitely flowing a little better than the ones before. Certainly those live videos in Vegas were a disaster, but I was trying and I did what I could. But I wanted to talk about foxes because they are a big thing to me. They're actually a big thing to my family now, mainly because I talk about them all the time and everyone has gotten on board. So it dates back to a trip to Japan, 2019 actually. I went to Japan with my wife, and it was right after my business partner had passed away, 5 months after. And I really didn't have a lot of time to grieve during that period. And when I was at this shrine in Japan called Fushimi Inari Shrine, I think that's all it is, Fushimi Inari, I hope that's it. I really feel bad if that's not right. So we spent some time in Kyoto, and then we went to this, I think it picks up the focus when I don't do that. So we went to this Fushimi Inari Shrine, and I honestly was overwhelmed. It's where all the torii gates are lined up. If you know anything about Japan, if you've gone there, there's a shrine where there's torii gates lined up one after the other after the other. It's kind of a famous photo that you see on, when you search Japan, you kind of see these often because the red gates, unbelievable. And I was overwhelmed, and it just hit me pretty significantly. I talked to my wife about what was happening, and I even made a contribution, whatever you would call that moment where you give them a gate. They wrote our family name on there, and I was able to leave that gate on the shrine. Around that gate, on both sides where I placed the gate and had a massive emotional moment, are 2 foxes kind of protecting the spot where I placed the gate. And after that day, I started investigating the meaning of foxes at Fushimi Inari, and honestly in Japan, where they're called kitsune. And my interest in foxes started to grow. Oddly enough, at the same time, foxes started surfacing around me near my home amazingly often, oddly often, and it was noticeable, and it was significant. It was when I would hike, it was when I would wake up in the morning. It was not literally every day, but it was very often, unusually more often than before, significantly more often. So I started paying attention, and I started talking about what the foxes meant to me. And whether you believe this or not, I started to have a positive feeling about their presence and the idea that I was onto the right concepts in my brain, because that day when I was at the shrine in Japan, I made a commitment. And honestly, that commitment is tied to what we're going through today, this process we're going through. I've built a lot of this over the years since that day. I mean, honestly, it's been quite a while, but a lot of things have happened in our lives since then, so I put this project on hold. This is a significant project, but I've been thinking about it often since that day, and what my commitment is, what my legacy could be, how I could contribute to the world. And so the foxes and their presence were assigned to me. And then there were periods of time where they would go away, which was obviously odd. And then others in my family started seeing them way more often than me. So much so that it became a thing where now they were seeing the foxes, and it's just a family thing. And the gifts that I've received, I have, like I did one count. I just received a new one yesterday, so I'm going to pull that one up. This is made of soapstone, and it was a gift from my wife. She found it somewhere, so this is pretty cool. I have all kinds of different ones, but this one in particular. So this one is under my monitor, and it's certainly small, and I don't know if it's going to get picked up. It's impossible. I think I have to shut my eyes, which is weird, so that you can see it, and I will learn how that focus thing works. But I think I have to do like product thing or something like that. So this fox, this super tiny fox, this was the strangest of all. My dad had just passed away. I was there to deal with some of the aspects of how what you have to deal with from a legal standpoint. I was working with my family, so I was visiting the city where my parents lived, and I came out of this hotel, and I'm walking through the parking lot at the Hampton Inn, and near my car, just outside the door of where I would go into my car, 2 feet from my door, was this fox laying on the ground. And there was nothing around. It was just by itself, this little tiny toy fox, and it was right at the time that I needed some communication. And I know this is challenging for some people to think about the spirituality of this kind of stuff, but believe me, I embrace it. So this fox at that time was on the ground by itself, empty parking lot, near my car, and it was just sitting there. And when I picked it up and could not believe it was a fox, because it was just around the time that it was so significant, the presence, and it became 100% certainty. There have been times, one example, I'm in Arizona at the Navajo National Monument, which Native American group, the Navajo, which takes up a very large portion of the U.S. It's honestly as big as a state. So a very large chunk of Arizona is set aside with the Navajo Nation, and then it crosses over into other states. So Navajo Nation, I'm in Navajo Nation. We're at their Navajo National Monument, and I started feeling something significant, and I told my wife, who at some point will give names, but I told her, I'm definitely going to see a fox. Like, this is 100%. Like, I could tell that there was something happening. We walked outside, and right on the back of a car was a sticker with a fox on it. And I know, whatever, you can call it a coincidence, but the timing and everything that goes with these moments, it's just not a coincidence. And another example, I think different trip, may have been Colorado. We were just running around this local area in rural Colorado, and then a fox decided to hop in front of us and just like play games with our car for a little bit out of nowhere, and we just were able to drive away. So there's been moments where family members have run into them in areas they 100% are not active, and so now we have started to take care of them a little bit. I touched on it several videos ago, where we, for right or wrong, we're actually taking care of some local foxes right around my house. We believe there's 2. We've named them Scrappy and Rusty, which is, again, just fun and hilarious. But Scrappy is a little rough looking, and the tail has definitely been through it, and then Rusty is just beautiful. So Rusty came around the other day, right when I was talking about this project and my plan and how confident I am and the steps that I'm going through tied to not only the fox, but number 9. I'll do a whole video on number 9. So we have the 9 at 9, the 99-day challenge, and I mentioned the fact that number 9 is significant. Fox and 9, the two together. I'm a little weird. I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not normal. So I was sharing just the fact that how certain I was about things, and how certain I was about the messaging and the confidence and everything. And you got to get it. Like, a little intuition helps, right? You're making a big risk. I'm taking a big risk, and any little support I can get from the universe is a very positive thing for me. That moment, no exaggeration, I lifted the shades of our bedroom, and here walks Rusty down the backyard across our common area, and then checked the little bowl. Of course, we have food out there, so it's not completely unusual that it would come by, but it rarely comes by during the day. Most often it's in the evening, and it's dark at like 5 o'clock here right now. So we don't see them during the day that much. They're active at night as normal. And so to have it come by and just hang around and then look at our house and then walk around our backyard and just play around, it was beautiful. And it was a necessary moment for me. So foxes are a big deal. We love the thumbnail, What the Fox, and I wanted to have a little fun video and a little chill video today. I needed a bit of a break. I made some adjustments on the camera, and I hope it works. I think it works, and I think I'm way over time. Man, time flies when you're doing this. So the volume changed. I think I got the channels right. If you were listening to these videos in headphones, one of the channels was picking up way louder than the other one. I had no idea what to do, but I think I fixed that. It may be too loud or not. I'm going to test it out. And then I cranked the light up way differently, changed the setting on my camera. I think it's better, but I don't know. This is the first time. But it took a while, and I ended up breaking more things than I wanted to. So today I needed a little break. I appreciate it, and we're going to do it again tomorrow. I worked on an outro, but I don't have it memorized, so we'll try that tomorrow. Check it out. Talk tomorrow.